The kind gesture. It was a bright, sunny afternoon in the small town of Maplewood. The sky was clear, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the trees lining the park. Laughter and joy filled the air as children played on the swings and slides. Among them was a cheerful little girl named Mia. She was 8 years old, with curly brown hair and sparkling blue eyes. Maya loved spending her afternoons at the park, and today was no different. Mia had a special lunch packed by her mother, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some apple slices, and a small cookie. As she sat on a bench with her friends, she enjoyed the warm sun on her face and the sweet smell of the flowers nearby. They giggled and shared stories about their favorite cartoons and games. As Mia took a bite of her sandwich, her eyes wandered around the park. That was when she noticed a man sitting alone on a nearby bench. He was older, with a scruffy beard and worn clothes. His eyes looked sad, and he had a gentle, tired smile. Mia's heart ached when she saw him. She wondered why he was sitting there all alone. "Who is that man?" Maya asked her friends, pointing toward him. "I think he's homeless," one of her friends replied. "I've seen him here before." Mia's friends seemed uninterested, and they quickly went back to their games. But Mia couldn't shake the feeling of sadness she felt for the man. She thought about how she would feel if she were in his shoes. After a moment of thinking, Mia made a decision. She stood up and walked over to the man. As she got closer, she could see him clearly. He looked older than her dad, and his hands were rough and calloused. Maya felt nervous but determined. "Hi, my name is Mia," she said, her voice bright. The man looked up, surprised by her approach. "Hello there," he replied softly. "I'm Jake. Nice to meet you, Mia." Mia smiled and sat down beside him. "Are you hungry?" she asked. "I have a sandwich." Jake looked at her in surprise. "Oh, that's very kind of you. But I couldn't possibly take your lunch," he said, shaking his head. "But I want to share," Mia insisted, holding out her sandwich. "You look like you could use it more than me." Jake's eyes widened. No one had ever offered him food like this before. "Are you sure?" he asked, touched by her generosity. "Yes, please, take it," Maya said, her face beaming with joy. Jake took the sandwich from her hand, feeling a warmth spread in his chest. "Thank you, Mia. You're a very kind girl," he said. He took a small bite and closed his eyes, savoring the taste. "This is delicious." Mia giggled, happy to see him enjoy the food. They began talking. Jake told her stories about his life. He used to be a teacher, and he loved reading books about adventures. Maya listened intently, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Why are you sitting here all alone?" Maya asked after a while, her voice filled with concern. Jake sighed, looking down at his hands. "I lost my job a while back, and things have been tough. I don't have a home right now, but I'm trying to get back on my feet." Mia felt sad for him. "You're a good person. I can tell," she said. "I think you'll find a way to be happy again." Jake smiled at her words. "Thank you, Mia. That means a lot to me. Sometimes it's hard to believe that things will get better." Mia nodded, feeling the weight of his words. She wanted to help more. "If you want, I can bring you lunch every day," she offered. Jake chuckled softly. "That's very sweet of you, but you don't have to do that." "But I want to," she insisted, her eyes shining with determination. "All right then, I would love that," Jake replied, his heart feeling lighter. As they talked, Maya's friends watched from a distance, whispering to each other. They were surprised to see Mia talking to someone like Jake. Some of them giggled, unsure of why she was being so nice. "Mia, come back," one of her friends shouted, pulling her attention away from Jake. Mia glanced back at her friends, unsure, but she felt something deep inside her, an urge to keep talking to Jake. She turned back to him. "I have to go now, but I'll see you tomorrow, okay?" Jake nodded, smiling. "I'll be here. Thank you again for your kindness, Mia. As Mia walked away, she felt happy. She had done something good today. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the park, and Maya felt a sense of pride. She had made a new friend, and she knew she would return to share her lunch again. But as she walked, she couldn't help but feel that something deeper was at play. Mia had no idea that her simple act of kindness would lead to something much bigger than she ever imagined. Little did she know, the world around them was about to change. This was just the beginning of a story filled with surprises, challenges, and a lesson that would leave a lasting impact on everyone involved. Maya's heart was big, and she was ready to share it with the world. The unexpected visit. The next day at school, Mia couldn't stop thinking about Jake. She felt excited to see him again and share her lunch. As she packed her bag that morning, she included an extra sandwich just for him. Her mother noticed the extra food and asked, "Mia, why do you have 2 sandwiches today?" Mia smiled brightly. "I met a man at the park yesterday. His name is Jake, and he's homeless. I want to share my lunch with him again." Her mother's smile faded slightly. "Sweetheart, that's very kind of you, but you need to be careful. Not everyone is safe." Mia nodded, but she was determined. She knew in her heart that Jake was a good person. After school, she hurried to the park, her heart racing with excitement. When Mia arrived, she scanned the park for Jake. The swings were empty and the slide was quiet. She felt a twinge of worry. What if he wasn't there? But then she spotted him sitting on the same bench as before, looking a bit more tired than yesterday. "Jake," Mia called, running towards him. Jake looked up, and a smile spread across his face. "Mia, you came back," he exclaimed. "I'd brought you something," she said, holding out the sandwich. "It's peanut butter and jelly again. I hope you like it." Jake accepted the sandwich with gratitude. "Thank you so much, Mia. You really brighten my day." They sat together on the bench, enjoying the warm sun. Maya felt a sense of joy being with him, and Jake seemed to appreciate her company. As they ate, Mia asked him more about his life. "What did you teach?" she inquired, taking a bite of her apple slices. "I taught history," Jake replied, his eyes sparkling with passion. "I love telling stories about the past. There are so many amazing things that have happened in this world." Mia was fascinated. "Like what?" Jake thought for a moment, then began sharing stories about famous figures, battles, and inventions. Maya listened with wide eyes, captivated by every word. She had never enjoyed history class as much as this. But just as they were getting into a great story about a heroic battle, a loud noise interrupted them. Maya turned to see a police car pull up near the park. Her heart sank as she watched 2 officers step out of the vehicle. Jake's expression changed too. He looked nervous as the officers walked toward them. Mia's stomach twisted in knots. She had heard stories about police and homeless people, and she worried they might cause trouble for Jake. "Stay calm, Mia," Jake whispered, trying to reassure her. The officers approached with stern faces. "What's going on here?" one officer asked, eyeing Jake suspiciously. Mia quickly stood up. "We're just talking," she said, trying to sound brave. "Jake is my friend." The officers exchanged glances, clearly skeptical. "You shouldn't be talking to him, little girl. He's not a safe person to be around." Mia felt anger rise inside her. "That's not true. He's really nice, and he didn't do anything wrong." The officers ignored her and continued to question Jake. "What are you doing here? Do you have any identification?" one of them asked, his tone harsh. Jake took a deep breath. "I don't have any ID on me right now, but I'm just here enjoying the park. I'm not bothering anyone." The officers seemed unconvinced. "We've had complaints about people loitering here. We're going to have to ask you to move along," one officer said firmly. Mia's heart raced. She didn't want Jake to be chased away. "Please don't take him away. He's my friend. He's not doing anything wrong," she shouted, her voice rising in panic. The officers turned to her, their expressions softening slightly. "It's okay, little girl. We just want to make sure everyone is safe," one officer said, trying to calm her. "But he is safe. You don't know him like I do," Mia insisted, feeling tears prick at her eyes. Jake placed a hand on her shoulder. "It's all right, Mia. I'll be fine. I just need to move on," he said gently. But Mia couldn't accept that. She felt a surge of determination. "No, you can't just go. He's a good person." The officers hesitated, looking at each other. "Listen, kid," one officer said, "we just want to do our job. Sometimes people like him get into trouble. We're just trying to keep everyone safe." "Safe from what? He's not hurting anyone," Mia shouted, her voice trembling with emotion. The tension hung in the air as Mia's passion shone through. Jake looked at her with appreciation. "Thank you, Mia. You're a brave girl," he said quietly. Finally, the officers backed off a little, their stern faces softening. Okay, we'll let him go this time. But we'll be keeping an eye out," one officer said, turning back to Jake. "Just make sure you don't cause any trouble, all right?" Jake nodded, relieved. "Thank you. I appreciate it." The officers walked away, and Mia took a deep breath. She felt proud of herself for standing up for Jake, but she also felt scared. What if the police came back? Jake smiled at her, his eyes filled with gratitude. "You really stood up for me, Mia. Not everyone would do that." "I just wanted to help," she replied, her heart still racing from the encounter. As they resumed their conversation, Mia felt a new bond with Jake. She had learned something important today about standing up for what is right, and it filled her with hope. But little did she know, their story was just beginning. The encounter with the police had set off a chain of events that would change their lives forever. The unexpected visit from the officers would lead to surprising connections, new challenges, and a chance for Mia to make an even bigger difference than she could imagine. The unseen connection. The following week was filled with unexpected twists and turns for Mia and Jake. After their confrontation with the police, Mia couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. She wanted to do something more to help Jake, but she wasn't sure how. At school, Mia noticed that her friends were talking about an upcoming charity event. The school planned to raise money for local shelters, and each class was supposed to contribute something special. Mia's heart raced with an idea. What if she could get her classmates involved in helping Jake and others like him? That day during lunch, Mia gathered her friends around the table. "Hey, everyone. I have an idea," she said, her excitement bubbling over. "What if we help raise money for homeless people?" Her friends looked at her curiously. "What do you mean?" asked Jenna, a girl with curly hair and bright eyes. "There's this man I met at the park. His name is Jake, and he's really nice. I want to help him and others like him," Mia explained, her heart racing. "But how?" asked Ethan, who loved playing video games. "They probably don't want our money." Mia shook her head. "No, it's not just about giving money. We could organize a bake sale or a car wash. We can raise money and donate it to a shelter. It would help people like Jake." Her friends looked at each other, considering the idea. "That could be fun," Jenna exclaimed. "I love baking." Mia smiled, feeling a wave of encouragement wash over her. "Let's do it. We can talk to our teachers and get this started. If we all work together, we can make a difference." After school, they approached their teacher, Mrs. Thompson, who was excited about their idea. "This is wonderful, Mia. It's important to help those in need. I can help you organize it and get the word out," she said with a smile. The following weeks flew by as Mia and her friends worked hard. They baked cookies, cupcakes, and brownies every weekend, filling the kitchen with sweet smells. They made colorful posters to hang around the school, spreading the word about their bake sale. When the big day arrived, Mia was nervous but excited. The school gym was filled with tables covered in treats. Parents and students flooded in, eager to buy goodies and support the cause. Mia's heart swelled with pride as she watched her friends selling cookies and chatting with customers. After hours of hard work, they had raised a significant amount of money. Mia couldn't believe it. They had done it. As they counted the cash together, a sense of joy filled the air. "This is amazing," Mia said, her eyes sparkling. "We can really help people with this." Just then, the school principal stepped up to the microphone. "I'd want to thank all of you for your hard work today. You have raised a substantial amount of money for our local homeless shelter. Your kindness and effort are inspiring." Mia beamed with pride. But then she noticed someone standing in the back of the gym. It was Jake. He had come to support her. She ran over to him, her heart racing. "Jake, I'm so happy to see you," Mia exclaimed, throwing her arms around him in excitement. "Thank you for inviting me, Mia. I wanted to see what you were up to," Jake replied, his eyes filled with warmth. Mia couldn't contain her excitement. "Look at all the money we raised. We're going to donate it to a shelter that helps people like you." Jake's eyes widened with surprise and gratitude. "You did all of this? For me? For everyone?" Maya said, grinning. "But you were my inspiration. I wanted to help you and others who need it." Jake felt a lump in his throat. "You're an amazing girl, Mia. Thank you for caring so much. It means more than you know." As they stood together, Mia noticed some people staring at Jake. She could see whispers among the crowd, and she felt her stomach twist. She worried that the police would come back or that people would judge him again. "Don't worry, Mia. I'm fine. I won't let anyone ruin this moment for us," Jake said, sensing her anxiety. But as the event continued, Maya noticed the tension in the air. A few parents were giving Jake strange looks. She felt a wave of anger rise within her. Why couldn't people see how wonderful he was? Suddenly, one of the parents approached Jake. "What are you doing here?" the man asked, his voice dripping with disdain. "You shouldn't be around children." Mia stepped in front of Jake, her heart pounding. "He's here because he's my friend. You don't know him." The man rolled his eyes. "Kids shouldn't be around people like him. He's dangerous." Mia's anger flared. "No, he's not. He helped me understand history and told me amazing stories. He's a good person." Before the man could respond, Jake spoke up, his voice calm but firm. "I'm not a danger to anyone. I'm just here to support this wonderful girl and her friends." Mia felt proud of Jake. She could see that he was strong and brave, even when faced with hostility. But she also felt scared. Would they kick him out? Would the police come back? Just then, Mrs. Thompson stepped in. "That's enough. Jake is here as a guest of honor. He deserves respect, just like anyone else." The crowd grew quiet as Mrs. Thompson's words hung in the air. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her. The adults began to whisper among themselves, unsure of how to respond. "Let's focus on the good that's happening here," Mrs. Thompson continued. "This event is about kindness and helping others, and Mia and her friends are doing an amazing job." With that, Maya turned to Jake, her heart swelling with admiration. "See, you're not alone. People care about you." Jake smiled, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thanks to you, Mia, I feel that more than ever." As the event continued, Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. She had seen how one kind gesture could ripple out and inspire others. It reminded her that even in the face of prejudice and fear, there was power in standing up for what was right. Little did Mia know, this was just the beginning of a much larger journey, one that would bring unexpected challenges, surprising alliances, and a chance to change lives forever. The unexpected challenge. The charity event was a huge success, and Maya felt like a hero. The money raised would help Jake and many others find support and shelter. As days passed, Mia continued to meet Jake in the park after school, and their friendship blossomed. They talked about everything: school, dreams, and the world around them. Jake shared stories from his life, teaching Maya lessons about kindness and resilience. However, things took a turn when Mia noticed the whispers around school had not faded. Instead, they grew louder. Some students began to avoid her, and rumors circulated that she was hanging out with someone dangerous. The weight of their judgment was heavy on her heart. One afternoon, as Mia walked through the school hallways, she overheard two girls laughing and pointing at her. "Why is she always with that homeless man? Doesn't she know he's a loser?" One girl snickered. Mia felt a stab of pain in her chest. She wanted to confront them, but the fear of escalating the situation held her back. Instead, she pressed her lips together and walked on, trying to ignore their hurtful words. When she met Jake later that day, she couldn't hide her feelings. "Jake, people are saying mean things about us," she admitted, her voice trembling. Jake frowned, his expression serious. "I'm sorry to hear that, Mia. People can be cruel, especially when they don't understand. But don't let them get to you. You know who I am, and I know who you are. That's what matters." "But it's not fair," Mia exclaimed, frustration bubbling inside her. "I just want to help, and now I feel like I'm being punished for it." Jake placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You're brave for standing up for me. Remember, true friends stand by each other, no matter what others say." Mia nodded, but the hurt lingered. The next day, things escalated further. While Mia was at lunch with her friends, a boy named Ryan approached their table. He had a reputation for being the school's bully. "Hey, Mia, I heard you're best buddies with that loser Jake," Ryan sneered, crossing his arms. "What's it like hanging out with a nobody?" Mia's heart raced. "He's not a nobody. He's a good person, and you don't even know him," she shot back, her voice firm. Ryan laughed, a cruel sound. "Good people don't live in parks. Good people have homes. You should be ashamed of yourself." At that moment, Mia felt a surge of determination. She was tired of hiding behind her fear. "No, you should be ashamed for judging someone without knowing their story," she yelled, her voice louder than she intended. The cafeteria grew silent, and all eyes turned to them. For a moment, Mia felt like she was on stage, exposed to everyone's gaze. But she stood her ground, refusing to back down. Ryan narrowed his eyes, but before he could respond, Mrs. Thompson, their teacher, intervened. "What's going on here?" she asked, her tone serious. Mia took a deep breath, feeling a mix of relief and anxiety. "Ryan was being mean to Jake, and I defended him," she explained. Mrs. Thompson looked at Ryan. "Is that true?" she asked. Ryan scoffed. "I'm just saying the truth. Why would she want to be friends with someone like him?" "That's not the truth, Ryan," Mrs. Thompson replied firmly. "Friendship is about understanding and compassion, and clearly you don't understand that. It's disappointing to see you bully someone for no reason." With a huff, Ryan walked away, and Mia felt the weight lift from her shoulders. Mrs. Thompson turned to Mia and smiled. "I'm proud of you for standing up for your friend. That takes courage." Mia beamed, feeling a sense of validation. But deep down, she knew the struggle wasn't over. She still had to face the whispers and judgments from others. The next day, Mia woke up determined to change the narrative. She thought about how they had raised money for the shelter and how Jake had touched her life. She needed a plan to show everyone the truth about her friendship with Jake. Mia decided to create a video project. She would document her time with Jake, capturing their conversations, the lessons he taught her, and how he inspired her to help others. She hoped it would show everyone that Jake was not defined by his circumstances. At school, Mia spoke to her friends, Jenna and Ethan. "I want to make a video to show how amazing Jake is and how much he means to me," she said, excitement bubbling in her voice. Jenna's eyes lit up. "That sounds great. We can help you film it." Ethan nodded. "I can edit the video. Let's do this." With their support, Mia felt a renewed sense of hope. Over the next few weeks, they worked hard on the video, interviewing Jake, filming their time together, and highlighting the good he did for others. Mia felt empowered. As the project progressed, She realized it was more than just a video. It was a chance to change how people viewed those in need. Finally, the day came to unveil the video during the school assembly. Mia's heart raced as she stood in front of the packed gym, the audience buzzing with chatter. "Today, we want to show you a special project about friendship and kindness," she announced, her voice shaking slightly. "It's about my friend Jake, who has taught me so much. I hope this video helps you see him for who he really is." As the video played, Mia watched her classmates' reactions. The laughter, the tears, and the moments of connection filled the room. She hoped they would see Jake's heart, not just his situation. When the video ended, the gym was silent. Then, one by one, applause erupted, growing louder and louder. Mia felt tears of joy stream down her cheeks. She had done it. She had shared Jake's story and changed hearts. After the assembly, students approached her, expressing their admiration for Jake and apologizing for their previous judgments. Mia felt a wave of relief and happiness wash over her. She had taken a stand, and it was worth it. But little did Mia know, this was just the beginning of their journey together. The road ahead would still hold challenges, but she was ready to face them with Jake by her side. The ripple effect. After the assembly, Mia felt like a different person. The applause and kind words from her classmates lifted her spirits. She had shown them Jake's true self, and it seemed like the school was beginning to change its perception of him. In the following days, Mia noticed a shift in the way students treated her. Many approached her with curiosity instead of scorn. They wanted to know more about Jake, his story, and the work he did to help others. Mia felt a sense of pride. Her project had created a ripple effect of understanding and compassion. One afternoon, as Mia walked to the park to meet Jake, she couldn't help but smile. She had started to feel a wave of support from her peers. When she arrived at their usual meeting spot, Jake was already there, sitting on a bench and looking at the clouds. "Hey, Jake," Mia called out, waving enthusiastically. Jake turned and smiled, his face lighting up. "Hey, Mia, how was school today?" he asked, gesturing for her to join him on the bench. "It was amazing," Mia said, taking the seat next to him. "You won't believe what happened after the assembly." Jake raised an eyebrow. "Tell me everything." Mia shared the news about how many students had approached her, asking about him and expressing their admiration for his kindness and resilience. "I think people are finally starting to understand what you're about," she exclaimed. Jake chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling. "That's great to hear, but remember, it's not just about me. It's about everyone who faces struggles like mine. It's about changing perceptions." Mia nodded, absorbing his words. "You're right, but you have inspired so many people already. It's like a wave of kindness is spreading through our school." As they talked, Mia noticed a group of students nearby, laughing and pointing in their direction. She recognized them from her class, including Ryan, the bully. Mia felt her heart race. She worried they might say something hurtful again. But instead, one of the girls approached them. "Hey, Jake," she said, her voice cheerful. "I just wanted to say that I really loved your story in Mia's video. You're really cool." Jake looked surprised. "Thank you. I appreciate that," he replied, smiling warmly. Mia felt a wave of relief wash over her. Maybe things were changing for the better after all. Encouraged by the girl's compliment, more students began to gather around, eager to hear from Jake. "Can you tell us more about your experiences?" one boy asked. "We'd love to learn how we can help others too." Jake's expression brightened. "Of course. There's so much we can do together," he said, launching into a story about how he used to volunteer at shelters, helping others find food and support. The students listened intently, engaged and inspired. Mia watched in awe as Jake shared his knowledge. It was a moment of connection, and she could see how the students were beginning to change their views. They were no longer seeing Jake as just a homeless man, but as a friend with valuable insights and experiences. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park. Maya felt a sense of hope. Maybe we can organize a charity event, she suggested to Jake and the group. We can raise money and awareness for the shelter you used to go to. Everyone cheered at the idea, and Jake's eyes sparkled with excitement. That's a fantastic idea, Mia. We could have a bake sale, a fun run, or even a talent show. Mia and Jake brainstormed ideas, and soon the group was buzzing with energy, eager to help. They decided to set a date for the event and start planning immediately. As the days passed, word spread throughout the school about the upcoming charity event. Students began to talk about it in the hallways, and the excitement grew. Maya felt a sense of community forming, and it warmed her heart. However, there were still whispers and rumors lingering. Ryan and his friends continued to make snide remarks, trying to undermine the positive changes Mia and Jake were creating. But now, Maya felt stronger. She had support from her friends and the students who believed in their cause. On the day of the charity event, the park was bustling with energy. Colorful banners decorated the area, and booths filled with baked goods and games lined the pathways. Mia's heart raced with excitement and anticipation. Jake arrived early to help set up, his presence a beacon of encouragement. As the event kicked off, Maya saw familiar faces. Students who had once whispered hurtful things were now volunteering, smiling, and helping out. Throughout the day, people came and went, donating money, participating in games, and enjoying the festivities. Maya felt overwhelmed with gratitude as she watched everyone come together for a common purpose. At one point, she spotted Ryan among the crowd, looking hesitant but curious. He wandered over to a booth where Jake was sharing stories with younger kids. Mia's heart raced as she watched Ryan approach. "Hey Jake," Ryan said, his tone softer than before. I just wanted to say sorry for how I treated you before. I didn't understand." Jake looked up, surprised but kind. "Thank you for saying that. It takes courage to admit when we're wrong. I appreciate it." Mia felt a swell of pride. This was the moment she had hoped for, a chance for understanding and growth. The ripple effect of their kindness was spreading, and she couldn't help but smile. As the sun began to set, Maya stood with Jake, watching the event unfold. "We did it, Jake. We really did it," she said, her eyes shining with joy. Jake nodded, a proud smile on his face. "This is just the beginning, Mia. Together, we can continue to inspire others and make a difference." With a renewed sense of purpose, they both knew that their journey was far from over. But for the first time, they felt hopeful about what lay ahead, ready to face whatever challenges might come their way. The aftermath of change. As the charity event came to an end, Maya felt a wave of fulfillment wash over her. The laughter of children, the smell of freshly baked goods, and the sight of people working together for a common cause filled her with hope. They had raised a significant amount of money for the shelter, and she couldn't wait to see how it would make a difference. However, as the dust settled, Mia knew that their journey wasn't complete. The real challenge lay ahead. Changing hearts and minds, not just at their school but in the community too. She looked over at Jake, who was busy chatting with a group of younger students. His infectious smile lit up the evening, and she felt grateful to have him by her side. The next day at school, the atmosphere was electric. Students buzzed with excitement about the charity event, discussing how much fun they had and how much money they raised. Maya and Jake found themselves in the spotlight, with classmates approaching them for selfies and sharing their stories about the event. But Mia knew that some shadows still lingered. Ryan, while apologetic, hadn't completely changed. He was still with his friends, and Mia noticed the smirks and whispers when they passed by. The energy of the event couldn't erase the hurtful past entirely. During lunch, Mia gathered her friends to discuss their next steps. "We need to keep this momentum going," she said, her voice steady but passionate. "We can organize more events and raise awareness about homelessness and kindness." "I love that idea," one of her friends chimed in. "What if we create a club at school? We could call it the Kindness Club, or something like that. Jake, who had joined them, nodded in agreement. That sounds perfect. We could hold regular meetings, plan more fundraisers, and even volunteer together at the shelter. The group began to brainstorm ideas, feeling a sense of unity. They decided to set up a meeting with the principal to discuss forming the club officially. Maya felt energized as they made plans. This was their chance to create lasting change. As they presented their ideas to the principal, Maya spoke passionately about the need for kindness and understanding in their school. We've seen how one act of kindness can change perceptions. We want to create a community that embraces everyone, no matter their background, she explained. The principal listened intently, nodding along. I love this idea, Mia. You have my full support. Let's schedule an announcement for the whole school. When the announcement was made, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Students showed interest in joining the Kindness Club, excited to be part of something meaningful. Maya felt her heart swell with pride. This was the beginning of a new chapter for their school. However, not everyone was supportive. A few students, including Ryan and his friends, scoffed at the idea, making comments about how they didn't need a kindness club. This negativity stung, but Maya reminded herself that they were only a small part of the bigger picture. As the weeks went by, the Kindness Club flourished. They held bake sales, organized cleanup days in the community, and raised funds to support local shelters. The school atmosphere began to shift. More and more students participated, and their efforts spread goodwill throughout the community. Mia and Jake often found themselves in the spotlight, sharing their story and inspiring others. Mia noticed how Jake had grown more confident. He spoke passionately about his experiences, and the way he connected with others was remarkable. One afternoon, after a particularly successful bake sale, Jake turned to Mia with a thoughtful expression. You know, it's amazing to see how much has changed since we started this. People are really starting to listen. Mia smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. It's all because of you, Jake. You showed everyone that kindness matters and that we all have a story to share. But as their success continued, so did the whispers from the back of the cafeteria. Ryan and his friends still lingered, making snide remarks about the club and trying to undermine their efforts. Despite the negativity, Mia remained resolute, determined not to let their actions derail the positivity they had built. One day, as they were cleaning up after a meeting, Ryan approached them. "What's the point of all this?" he sneered. "You think you can just change everything with a club?" Mia took a deep breath, ready to respond. "We're not trying to change the world overnight, Ryan. We're just doing our part to make it better, one small act of kindness at a time. Isn't that worth something?" Jake stepped forward, his eyes steady. "We're not asking for your approval. We're here to help those in need, not to impress anyone. Maybe if you joined us, you'd see how rewarding it is." Ryan looked taken aback, clearly not expecting this response. For a moment, the cafeteria fell silent as everyone watched. But just as quickly, Ryan's bravado returned. "Whatever. Good luck with that," he scoffed and walked away with his friends. Mia felt a mixture of frustration and determination. "We can't let them get to us," she said, turning to Jake. "We're making the difference, and that's what matters." The following week, the Kindness Club organized a community day at the park, inviting families and neighbors to join in on the fun. Mia hoped it would be an opportunity to unite everyone, including those who had been skeptical about their efforts. On the day of the event, the park was alive with laughter, games, and the delicious smell of food. Maya felt a sense of joy as she watched families come together, kids playing, and community members bonding over shared experiences. As Mia and Jake worked at their booth, they were surprised to see Ryan and his friends walking toward them, looking somewhat hesitant. Mia felt her heart race. She wasn't sure what to expect. "Hey," Ryan said, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. "We came to check out your thing. It looks fun." Mia was taken aback. "Really? You're actually here?" "Yeah," Ryan said, glancing at his friends, who looked equally uncertain. I mean, we figured we could give it a shot. Jake stepped forward, a warm smile on his face. We'd love to have you join us. There's plenty to do. As they spent the day together, Mia noticed a change in Ryan. He started engaging with the activities, laughing, and even helping out at their booth. It was a small step, but it felt monumental. By the end of the day, Maya felt a sense of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were starting to break down barriers. And while the journey was far from over, she knew that their efforts were already making a difference in the community. With determination in her heart, Maya looked at Jake, and they exchanged smiles, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. They were united in their mission, and no amount of negativity could diminish the light they were creating. A new beginning. The sun shone brightly on the day of the Kindness Club's final event of the school year. Maya and Jake had organized a kindness carnival to celebrate their successes and engage the community one last time before summer break. It was a chance to showcase everything they had learned about compassion, teamwork, and resilience. As Mia set up the carnival games, she felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This event was not just a celebration. It was a culmination of all their hard work and dedication. She looked around the park, which was filled with colorful banners, balloons, and laughter. Families gathered, children played, and the smell of delicious food wafted through the air. Everything looked perfect. "Are you ready for this?" Jake asked, tying balloons to a booth. His enthusiasm was contagious, and Mia couldn't help but smile. "Absolutely. I just hope everyone has a good time," Maya replied, glancing at the crowd. "I want this to show how much we've accomplished together." The carnival began, and the activities drew in crowds. There were games like ring toss and a dunk tank, where teachers volunteered to get soaked for charity. The laughter of children echoed around them, creating a joyful atmosphere. Mia and Jake moved from booth to booth, enjoying the happiness they had helped create. Then came a moment that Maya would never forget. As she served cotton candy to a little girl, she saw Ryan standing at the dunk tank, laughing with his friends. To her surprise, he was wearing a t-shirt with the Kindness Club logo. She felt a rush of warmth in her chest. This was a real sign of change. Ryan approached her, looking slightly nervous. "Hey, Mia. Great job organizing this. It looks awesome." He smiled, and for the first time, there was no trace of sarcasm in his voice. "Thanks, Ryan. I'm glad you could make it," Maya said, her heart racing. "I'm happy to see you here. Are you enjoying the carnival?" "Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I actually wanted to help out with the next event," he said, surprising her again. "I know I haven't been the best teammate in the past, but I want to change that." Mia was taken aback but delighted. "That would be amazing. We'd love to have you on board." With the carnival in full swing, Mia and Ryan worked together at the dunk tank, encouraging kids to take their shot. They laughed and cheered, and Mia couldn't believe how far they had come. Ryan's transformation was evident, and the walls between them were slowly coming down. As the sun began to set, a sense of accomplishment washed over Mia. The event had exceeded her expectations, and the community had come together in a beautiful way. Families had interacted, friendships had formed, and the spirit of kindness enveloped them all. At the end of the night, Maya took the stage to thank everyone for their support. The crowd cheered, and she felt a wave of gratitude. "Thank you all for coming. This year has been incredible, and it's all because of you. Together, we've created a community built on kindness and compassion. Let's continue to spread that message." The applause was deafening, and she felt a surge of pride. In that moment, she realized that their efforts had not only impacted the community, but had also transformed the hearts of those around them, including her own. After the event wrapped up, Mia and Jake sat on a bench, taking a moment to reflect. "Can you believe what we've achieved?" Maya said, her eyes shining with excitement. "I know. It's been an amazing journey. And look at Ryan, Who would have thought he'd be on our team? Jake replied, nodding toward Ryan, who was helping clean up with his friends. Mia's heart swelled as she watched Ryan laughing and joking with others. This is just the beginning, Jake. We can do so much more. Absolutely. I can't wait to see what next year brings, Jake said, his enthusiasm infectious. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Maya felt a sense of hope. They had faced challenges, but they had also built something beautiful together. She knew that with their continued efforts, the spirit of kindness would thrive in their school and beyond. In the days that followed, Mia and Jake started planning for the next year. They discussed new ideas for events and ways to engage the community even further. They envisioned a mentorship program where older students could guide younger ones, creating a ripple effect of kindness throughout the school. Mia also wanted to establish partnerships with local businesses and organizations, expanding their reach. We can create a network of support that extends beyond the school. Together, we can make a real difference, she said excitedly. Jake nodded, sharing her vision. And we can keep encouraging everyone to be involved. The more people we have, the bigger the impact we can make. As summer approached, Maya reflected on how much she had grown throughout this journey. She had learned the importance of standing up for what she believed in, the power of kindness, and the strength that comes from community. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. With the Kindness Carnival behind them, Maya was filled with hope for the future. She knew that while they had made great strides, there was still much work to do. But with her friends by her side and a community willing to change, she was confident they could create a lasting impact. In the end, Maya realized that true kindness starts with understanding and compassion, and as they looked toward the future, she knew that together they could continue to change lives, one kind act at a time.